from Echo Esports. He is Azure. Needs a win here.
Needs a win. His tournament life is on the line. And if he's knocked out, we're not going to be able to see any more of that K-pop idol, so that would be pretty sad as well. And in the bottom left, playing for Team Root Gaming, we have an absolute Terran god of the foreign scene, Kelazhur, the rising star. Now, neither player going to be going for gas first. They're going racked gas, so they might choose to do some sort of Reaper expands. But not having gas first, Seth, means that you're not able to get nearly as fast to factory and not go for those super quick Banshees.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens in this early game. I'm hoping that Azure can maybe get a bit of a smoother start to the game, because both times now he's lost either some SCVs or a bit of his army or something like that that's just thrown him for the rest of the game. And, you know, he seems to get kind of out of his macro rhythm quite easily when that happens.
Oh dear.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
This is what I was saying at the start. So this map is incredible for doing Reapers. And the reason, let me show you guys. Alright, so Orbital Shipyard, you've got to defend your ramp. But then you've also got to defend all of this location here. And it's really tough when there's mass Reapers in your face. If you go gas first, you can do it. And Azure's actually going to get a scout off here. Kelazhur just let him in. And Azure's actually going to feel pretty good. Because, and the reason is, he's going to have that second gas. He can add a third barracks. Sure, his production will be slower for Reapers overall. But he's got that defender's advantage. And it takes a long time for these Reapers to get across the map.
Yeah, it certainly does. So this is a much better start for Azure. I was getting a bit worried that he'd get caught with his pants down, but at least he has 2 racks already. The third racks won't be too far off, already halfway done. And he can start producing Reapers as long as he controls well. He should be okay.
He's going to sandwich that Reaper. He's going to take a 1 Reaper lead already. That's an amazing move by Azure.
Fantastic job there. 3 Reapers now out, and Kelazhur had 1 Reaper rallying out across the map. He's sending it home now. He's like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to wait a sec, because he actually can't afford to run in there with a single Reaper or even 2 Reapers. Better to collect them all up and then head across. And it looks like Azure's actually going to end up being the aggressor here.
Yeah, well, this is really just to try and control high ground locations and get a good fight. He needs to be really careful. Kelazhur has the extra Reaper advantage. No! Azure,
oh my god!
He's playing with fire. He's taking a walk on the wild side, but he does actually get a Reaper and he turns! He makes the turns, he's making the plays. He gets 2 Reapers for nothing. Azure's actually 3 Reapers ahead in terms of units lost. And if you look at the units tab, he's up to 6 Reapers against just the 4.
Oh, this is awesome for Azure.
It is
great.
Kelazhur
needs to be careful. This may not be such a good engagement for Azure. He needs to wait for his extra Reaper to come in. Both players trying to micro the hurt ones back.
He's going to be so careful.
Up his ramp.
The defender's advantage as well, because all the Reapers are going to be popping out faster, or at least closer to your original army. So Azure needs to be really confident that he's at least 2 or 3 Reapers ahead before taking a fight. Really nice mine shot there. Azure taking a lot of damage on those Reapers.
Yeah, he might want to back out for now. It looks like he...
oh no!
Okay, this is not the best move.
Oh my god. Yeah, he definitely lost at least 1. But he's still ahead in terms of units lost, and they are even on the Reaper count, or at least now Azure is just 1 up. But in production, we have 2 command centers going down for Kelazhur. He's playing this kind of like a TvZ 3 racks Reaper and adding this factory.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not used to seeing this in TvT so much. I mean, granted, we don't get the pleasure of watching so many in these tournaments, but, well, here comes Kelazhur once again with a bunch of Reapers. Can get some favorable engagements.
What the hell?
That
was the craziest jump up. I'm going to have to go back and look at that replay, but it looked like he jumped up from the bottom left all the way onto the top right. That was so crazy. Like a really weird glitch, and he lost 2 Reapers because of it.
Kelazhur is actually still 2 Reapers ahead, though. Marines up the front here, though, taking a bit of firepower from those Reapers coming in from the side, trying to move him, push him back a little bit. But it's so difficult to engage this. It's so hard to tell if you're actually going to come out on top.
And how sick is Legacy of the Void, Zeph? This is such a fun game to commentate just because there's always constant action going on. Azure needs to be really, really careful. He doesn't want to lose these depots, but he does have an extra 20 supply buffer, so he shouldn't get supply blocked. He's making sure he fixes those holes in his gameplay, and he does have the Reaper advantage here, at least on HP, and he's got a couple of Marines as well, but he doesn't want to take a bad fight into the mines. Kelazhur does have that third CC now done, making an orbital command, going to have the Mulan mineral advantage, and in response, Azure is going to have the unit advantage. He's going to have more infrastructure and the ability to make more Marines, but he does need to do some damage. He can't let Kelazhur get that third saturated too quickly.
Well, so far so good. He does manage to pick off 4 workers total in this game, which makes up for the few Reapers more that he lost. Actually, well, hold that thought. He's lost 14 Reapers to the 6 of Azure. So Azure doing very well in these Reaper skirmishes early on in the game.
Very, very well. And Zeph, if you have a look at the units tab at the moment, Kelazhur has a medivac and a tank and 12 Marines, whereas Azure just has 15 Marines. That's not actually too bad for Azure because he's going to have racks 4 and 5 finishing up, be able to get those reactors there, and he will have a time in the game around 8 minutes or 8.5 minutes where he will have a sizable lead in the Marine count. And in the main, there was a Reaper jump up as well, so Azure is going to town trying to get some of these Marines or SCVs. He gets a couple of nice mine shots up, does lose all of his Reapers, but he is 4 SCVs ahead.
Yeah, that's great for him because, you know, Kelazhur's going to replenish that really quickly since he has the third CC, but at least he knocks that CV count down just a little bit more to bring him back on par.
There's a drop in the back as well.
Not able to pick off too much here just yet. We'll get a couple of worker kills at least, and forces the pull off the mineral line as well.
Yeah, so that actually makes Azure lose about 100 to 200 minerals in terms of lost mining time, and he also lost quite a few SCVs as well. And it's just incredibly annoying to have that medivac in the back of your base because it's always there in the back of your mind. You can't move out until that medivac is gone. But he's going to go for a drop. He's leaving some Marines, or at least one Marine, to try and deter that. If Kelazhur gets wind that this drop is happening, he's definitely going to use his own medivac to try and get some damage done. This is a lot of medivacs, 4 medivacs, and there's no turrets left in the natural here for Kelazhur. He's not yet made those. He has no units there to defend, and he's spreading out across 4 bases.
Yeah, and it just queues up with the time that Kelazhur is sending his spotter Marines out, so he's actually not going to see the drop. He was just like 2 seconds too late for that. Oh no, the drop's back in here. There are some Marines coming to the rescue, but Kelazhur will get a little more damage done yet again before they're able to flush it out of there.
Yep, and Kelazhur was actually going to work on the rocks at the 3rd, and his units are not pre-positioned here. This could actually do critical damage. This could be game-ending damage if Azure gets a really good sieged-up position. He loses a tank, though. He needs every single tank to be able to do maximum damage, and along with the tank medivac for Kelazhur, he should be able to make some short work of this army, though, but the orbital command is under threat. The SCVs are there. They can get a nice repair.
Very nice. He's actually locked Kelazhur out of his own base here. So he has free reign over these SCVs and that CC if he wants to. Nice position here where he's able to hit the mineral line of the main as well. Gonna get a tank even from Kelazhur as well. I know he's actually doing quite well here. He's still alive even though he's only got 5 Marines and a siege tank left over here.
He's doing a fantastic job, Zeph, and he can actually pick up these units and float away. He doesn't want to lose these medivacs. It's really key to keep these alive. And he's fixing some of the mistakes he's made in earlier games, and he's not supply blocked through all of that. So he was playing this quite well. The main problem for him is behind that, generally you want to be able to establish a 3rd base, but he's really committing to the 2-base aggression, and this could actually work out well for him. He stopped on the +1 weapons attack. He's rallying all his units across the map, and so he needs to get a good engagement very quickly here. He's got 78 army supply to the 33 of Kelazhur.
Oh man, 50 Marines to the 11 of Kelazhur and equal tank count. He has a couple less medevacs, but when you have so many units coming across, I mean, that kind of makes up for it. Kelazhur does have that 3rd base, so if he holds on, he's going to be looking fantastic. He knows the position Azure's in, though. Question is, can he hold on here?
great split with the Marines, mitigating a lot of the damage from the tanks. He's able to pick up his Marines and move into the main as well. Kelazhur will have a pretty rough time of being able to deal with these Marines as long as Azure keeps them pre-split. The tanks are now sieging up. Kelazhur's in a pretty good defensive position, but his main is under threat. He's going to lose at least one of those barracks, and his Marine production in the background is going to be fairly crippled as well. He's actually going to drop a couple
of tanks. He only gets one of them.
Friendly fire killed the other tank.
Oh no. That's going to be such a rough feeling in a high intensity moment such as this. Azure does have to back up a little bit. The tanks drop right on the front lines, but the Marines are getting cleaned up here for Azure, and Kelazhur is able to take out 2 tanks.
Yeah, Azure making some critical blunders there. He didn't have the medivacs in front to heal those Marines through the fire, or through the fight there. So Kelazhur taking an incredible engagement, and he's going to push this away. And considering he's got the 3 bases and the double upgrades in production, Azure is going to be forced to tap out here. This is pretty much GG right now, just to be brutally honest with you guys.
Yeah, that was a really nice hold from Kelazhur. A couple mistakes from Azure, unfortunately. He looked really good there for a moment. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it happen from this point. His unit count is now, like he's got a superior Marine count. He still has a similar army to Kelazhur, but considering that he's only just now starting to get a 3rd base, he's just not got the economy behind him to keep this up.
Out his main, honestly. Like, there's no point in even keeping your main there and investing 400 minerals into that command center. He just needs those minerals all to be in Marines. And now Kelazhur is actually adding on the center tower. He sees this drop. It should be fairly trivial for him to actually clean this up, considering how many Marines in the tank medivacs that he has. He's got such an incredible gas advantage right here. All the medivacs are going to go down. Well, Azure choose to keep trying for this game. He's going to go through into the 3rd and kill a bunch of SCVs. Sieges up 1 siege tank, but the tank medivac coming down here from Kelazhur deflects another engagement from Azure. And GG is called. Azure understands where he's at in this game, and it is over.